making nearly $150,000 in 1 month, and a stock that went from just below 2, grinding all the way up to 9, and then crashing dilution dump style all the way back down to the 3s in just a span of 4 hours. I'm Max, and you're watching Madaz Money. Alright, what's up, guys? What a crazy week we just had. Some pretty epic last week of November and also the beginning of December. And you must be wondering, Madaz, why are you so happy? Why do you sound like you're so happy? You lost a shit ton of money today. Well, in case you guys haven't noticed, I did make nearly $150,000 in November. And that was my second best month ever of all time. And on top of that, this week, despite the big loss, still walked away with around $47,000 in profits. And I think that would probably qualify as a pretty good week in the eyes of most people. And overall, I'm just very, very excited about the direction, the way the market's going. Yeah, it was slow at the beginning, but we really picked up with PXS. And despite the loss and despite the bad trade, it was completely according to what I planned. I'm not in any way upset at all. Executed perfectly, had the good entry. The idea was right. It just didn't work out. So really, it's just one of those instances where, it just didn't work. And I'm completely fine with that. Yeah, the loss sucks, but, 9 out of 10 times this trade would have worked. So completely content. So let's take a look at what exactly happened there on PXS. This stock just completely ramped up from just below 2, as you can see, running from, I guess he's with the volume kind of started around 10 o'clock. The stock was already in the mid to high 2s, and it kind of just grinded all the way. And if we take a step back and look at it, 525 was the key level because that was the top from the previous move from just a couple days ago. So, and if you zoom back even more, this stock's all-time high prior to that was, in the mid 4s, 430. So this thing is technically at all-time highs, and you would believe that this thing would squeeze pretty epically. And it kind of grinded, and once it passed that 525 level, and that's when the volume really poured in. You got our first parabolic candle here, from the low 6s all the way up to the 7s. This is when I actually started trading it. This is when the washes became pretty significant with good volume, and you can actually get in and get out no problem. This is when I actually started trading it, and then just trading it on these little mini washes, and then boom, this was the big wash I was looking for. And you can kind of see at this point VWAP was around $6. And there was support right here, especially on this wick right here. It's 615 or so. So $6 was a pretty big level that I was watching. Obviously, the 525 previous all-time highs. So those were the two levels I was watching for a washout long. And 9 out of 10 times when you see a stock drop from 9 to 6 like that, which is a negative 33% drop, mind you, a stock just lost a third of its freaking value here. So when you see a stock drop that hard, you would expect it to bounce back a little bit. Like $1 or something like that. For a stock that went from 2 to 9, if it drops from 9 to 6, you would expect it to at least bounce up to 750 or something like that. So I was expecting to bounce back towards 764, which is the support level from right here. And more often than not, you do see that happen. So I thought that was a pretty nice opportunity for me to capture, $1.50 per share or so. And I went in with 15,000 shares, and you might argue, okay, that was a little bit too big. But, when you see this kind of juicy opportunity where a stock drops this hard, this fast, there's a good opportunity for you to probably jump in, capture $1.50 per share. And obviously, this thing could have ramped back even more. 825 is another level I want to look at, which was around here, the top right here, prior to this little run up. So I was looking at a possible bounce toward the mid 7s and possibly even the mid 8s. So, that was pretty good risk reward. Bought perfectly at support. My average is 6 on the dot, 6 even. VWAP was also right there. Support, big support, VWAP with the all-time highs, prior all-time highs at 525 just below it. I felt like it was worth a shot. It eventually didn't work. The stock bounced back, hit 7 very briefly on this candle, and I remember this candle was like the last chance to get out. The tape was abnormally heavy. For whatever reason, they just kept dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping. Any bid support was getting whacked out, whacked out, whacked out. And you can see this, the high in this candle was only 6.99. Didn't get past over 7. And unfortunately, it just kept going down and down and down. And I finally gave up on it at around $5 because it didn't show any signs of life, even at reclaiming VWAP. So at that point, I was like, you know what, forget it. If it's not going to defend the previous all-time highs, which technically should have held because every single short was underwater from 525 onward, it should have resulted in some mass paranoia in terms of short covering, but it didn't. So that meant that some external force was probably really a very powerful external force was holding this down. So, you know, it could have been dilution, it could have been a lot of things, but eventually it just died. And you can kind of see that it went all the way down to 350. So that stop at 15,000 shares. And if I decided to bag hold it or add average down or something like that, obviously at that point I would have absolutely been frustrated. I wouldn't be making this video for you guys. Probably would have just been crawling into my bed and just taking a nap for like the next 3 days for losing that much money on a very clear and obvious stop out at the prior all-time highs, which absolutely should have defended, and it should defend at 6, to be honest with you. So when you see something that doesn't look right, it's in your best interest to just get out. And in this case, it was pretty much a week-saving trade, week-saving stop out there, still preserving, you know, my second best week of the entire year, as opposed to giving up pretty much all of that back if I decide to average down or hold all the way down to the 3s. So overall, I eventually found out that the CEO apparently owns like 93% of the shares or something like that, and he was dumping or whatever. So either way, there was some force. You didn't even need to look it up to know that there was some obvious external force that usually isn't there. That just really did a number on this one. So it is what it is. You know, it's not going to always be the case. The washout long trade is still something I'm very confident in, and it still works overwhelming majority of the time. But this is the one-off time where it doesn't work. So, you know, losing 15K once isn't a big deal when you take a step back and look at the fact that, you know, I'm still up over $200,000 or so in the past 2 months. So just goes to show you, this is my main trade, and if it works that often for me to make that much money in just 2 months, then I'm fairly confident that this is an anomaly and a one-off. So those are my thoughts on PXS, guys. If you guys still have any more questions, feel free to email me about it or talk about it in the comments below. But definitely, this is a very strange one. It screwed over both longs and shorts both ways, you know, permanently grinding the shorts to oblivion on the front side, and then on the back side just crushing through every single support level that should have held. But it is what it is. So let's go ahead and talk about more positive things, which is November, the month of November. And I do understand that the screenshot that I posted on Twitter, which contained all of my notes, for whatever reason, it cut out some of the notes. So you guys are more than welcome to just take a look at this, the screen right here. Pause the video, you know, print screen it or screenshot it or whatever. Feel free to just, pick my brain, so to speak, and take a look at these notes. Just pause the video wherever you need to. But these are pretty much my notes for November, stocks in play, and pretty good insight. The colors, a lot of people ask me about what the colors are. They're basically just how active the market was that day. Red is the worst, green is the best, yellow the second best, orange the third best. And also I color coded this particular day in general. I'll explain in a second why I did that. So November was a very, very nice month. Obviously, aside from the fact that I made $149,000 in profits, it was a very, very active month, and I felt like it was very rewarding for every single type of trader out there. If you were a long, a short, a swing trader, a day trader, scalper, whatever, you should have done well this month because of the ample amount of opportunities that rewarded every single type of style out there. And there are definitely great plays, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the highlights of November. So November, you can kind of divide it up into two parts, two halves. You got the first half. You can kind of see from the tickers, a lot of the shipper stocks came up in the first half. You see you got your tops, you got your GLBS, you got your DCIX, and you got your ship, dries, whatnot, right? And then progressively, you had this little interlude where Chinese stocks were in play, and also Roku. Roku was in play for a couple days, and then you had your Chinese stocks, CADC, CHFS, Cone, and a lot of these Chinese stocks, CREG as well. A lot of these Chinese stocks, I believe they spawned as a result of XNET running, which was a Chinese stock. But XNET was also a a blockchain related stock, and that triggered what we saw in the second half or the latter part of the month. Basically, the latter part of the month was the blockchain stocks. Yeah, you're right. XNET, of course, Grow, Mara, and all that other good stuff. And that's pretty much November in a nutshell. You got, shippers, that little interlude of Chinese stocks as a result of XNET, and then the latter part was basically the blockchains. So we're going to go ahead and not go over every single chart because obviously that's going to be like a 5-hour long video. Just go ahead and just talk about some of the highlights using TOS's nice little on-demand feature that it has. Definitely check it out, guys. The on-demand feature is a great way to backtest your strategies using historical data. You can actually replay days. It's pretty cool. So definitely check that out. So one of the first stocks I want to talk about is DCIX. DCIX, of course, was the big play that netted me that one big win. If you guys haven't checked out that video, check it out. In the top right corner, there should be a little bubble that's popping out right now. But DCIX was a killer stock. I'm going to move this over here. DCIX on November the 6th. Let's go ahead and check out the on-demand. So DCIX on November the 6th was a really epic name. You can kind of see that. Actually, on November the 3rd, the previous Friday, that was the day where it just took off from 4 all the way to 20, and then it gave you that little fade back down to 10, giving the shorts that little, extra confidence to hold overnight, and then you gap it up on them. This is very much a textbook washout long play. And then, you guys know the rest is history. The halt washout long. I got in here, sold on this pop for a nice $20,000 in just a minute and 33 seconds. Not going to talk too much about DCIX because I talked about it very extensively in the video, but just wanted to touch up on it real quick. So that was probably the creme de la creme for the shipper stocks. There are also a couple others. Tops was another one. Did kind of like a similar move to DCIX. The volume wasn't as good, but definitely the same trade was there. You also had GLBS, similar move, lower volume, but DCIX was the main stock. The other ones, GLBS and Tops are mainly the offsprings sympathy plays from DCIX. HMMY was another one. HMMY was obviously the stock that was running toward the latter part of October, and it was still kind of in play a little bit in November. This is the whole movie pass thing in October, but I'm not going to touch up too much on it because I didn't really trade it that much. Roku on the 10th. Let's talk about Roku. So Roku, yeah, this one was pretty nice. So Roku was an earnings winner. If you take a look at what happened, it had really nice earnings after hours on the 8th, and that's when it decided to just take off. And this was a solid washout long play. As you can see, every day it gapped up, and then, it held like pre-market support and then ramped and then broke new highs, then held that as support, prior resistance holding as support. Pretty nice stock to trade until the end of the day there. But other than that, for the morning, this was pretty nice. I kept scalping Roku every single day until, let me see, the 14th was the last time I had it on my notes. But let's see, 14th. Yeah, so, more awesome action here. A little washout, spike, high day break. There you go. High day break, and then the afternoon fade. You got the gap up, a little huge dump here, nice little pop. This is a pretty nice opportunity. You bought 43, sold it at 45, and then this became a pretty nice short toward the rest of the day. But Roku was a really nice stock for a couple days. Nice volatility, nice range at the open. That's the most important part. You need volume, you need volatility, and Roku definitely offered that for us. So the next stock I want to touch up on is CREG. CREG was in play on the 9th. Let's just take a look at the 10th. So we got 2-day chart on CREG. So CREG, nice little. This stock came up on scanners, I believe, and it ramped up on the first day, and then it did the fade again. It's a very, very recurring pattern. You guys kind of know it ramps off. Eventually in the afternoon it fades. Not really sure why that is. Maybe there's buyer exhaustion. Maybe the shorts pile on. Maybe people are just taking profits. Whatever. But you see the same pattern, the fade, get the shorts to hold overnight, and then boom, gap it up on them, wash out, and then the ramp. I believe this stock had a lot of halts too. It was kind of tough to trade, but other than that, really nice opportunity. 4 to 9. I mean, can't really argue with that. But CREG, this is when pretty much the Chinese stocks started taking off. It's KBSF also at the same time, I believe. See, KBSF. KBSF was the prior day. 4 to 15 midday runner. The next day, unfortunately, it died, but this one only lasted for 1 day. But KBSF, I believe this is a really nice opportunity. I mean, anytime you get a stock moving from 4 to 15 in just, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, that's pretty sick. Lots of opportunities there. What else do we have? CADC, 16th. CADC, another nice stock, 5 to 9. I think this is another Chinese company. Nice little washout here against this little support level pre-market. You always see these pre-market support levels. Although they seem like there's no volume, they always appear to come up. They're very relevant for whatever reason. Nice low ramp there, 5 to 8. Could have captured $3 there. Not sure what I actually did on this one, but really nice stock to trade. Mosey, looks like that was another one that was in play. Let's see what Mosey did. Yeah, Mosey ramp. This one was actually probably a better short. Pre-market high short. Yeah, pre-market high short against the pre-market highs, and also to a lesser extent, more or less, the prior day's highs too, because you got the panic wick, and then eventually slammed back down. So Mosey was probably a better short there. DCIX came back to life on the 17th. Let's take a look. Low relief bounce. As you know, DCIX took a beating. Look at that. If you zoom out, you can see what happened in DCIX over the course of a couple days. Boom, 28, and it just died. No bounce, no volume. And this particular day, it finally found a bottom, ramped back up. Nice little move there. At the open, I took advantage of this one pretty nicely. It looks like I made $12,000 on that day. So, pre-market support here around 1260, ramped to 17, which was resistance. As you can see right here, perfectly lined up. These levels definitely, like I said, guys, all you have to do is just pull up a historical chart. Could be a daily chart a lot of times. It could be an hourly chart. Doesn't really matter. But these levels, they actually are, there. You just got to find them. It's like when you're a kid, playing Where's Waldo or playing hide and seek. You gotta find where these supports and resistances are hiding. So, right there, guys, 17.5 lined up right there, and boom, the high is 17.36. Give or take, pretty close. So you have an idea, general idea where to sell your long there on this little relief dead cat bounce on DCIX. So let's go ahead. The next ticker I want to go over. Let's see. How about ACST? ACST was one that got a lot of people. Yeah, ACST. I think I shorted this one, and then this is when I talked about taking the trader nap and walking away. And this is exactly the kind of candle, the squeeze from hell. This kind of action that you really just want to avoid. Think about what happened here. I mean, this thing just faded. You're in the driver's seat of your short. So it's grinding back, but nothing too scary yet. The volume's getting low though. And then boom. Maybe a group of people decide to market order. Maybe a chat room alerted it. Who the hell knows? But trader naps, they save lives, guys. I mean, I say it as a joke, but I'm gonna make a full-on video about trader naps at some point and explain to you guys how important a trader nap is. I mean, I could have probably used a trader nap today, and I would have had more, $16,000 more in my account if I didn't get dumped on PXS today. But the bottom line is, when you're taking a trader nap, you're skipping all of this bullshit, okay? All this nonsense, this grindy, choppy, low volume that's very susceptible to this squeeze from hell. I mean, this thing hit high a day. I mean, even if you top tick this stock in the morning, you would have lost all your unrealized gains. So, something to take a note of, guys. Avoid the lull, avoid the low volume, protect yourself from stuff like this. Just stay out of trouble. That's all I can tell you. All right, so let's take a look at CLSN, maybe? CLSN. Yeah, that was a pop and drop. Nice little pop. And fade. Nothing too crazy. Let's see what I drew here. Yeah, pop and drop. Let's take a look at Clint. This one's the one that got me. So Clint, this is an interesting one. This one gapped up huge. And if you look at the daily chart, and the reason why it got me was that it was over this high right here at 10.7. And I thought that, if it's gapped over 10.7 like that, it's probably going to rip the heads off of shorts. Every single short is underwater. We're going to have our DCIX textbook type washout long, especially since it held right here in like the last couple minutes, the last hour actually before the market opened, the last 30 minutes. And I thought it was going to hold basically the 11s and ramp off. And it didn't do that. And my thoughts is the difference between this and DCIX is that it didn't have shorts from the previous day. Because Clint, CLNT, was a stock that was, I guess you can call it a relatively fresh ticker. It was in play in October, but it didn't have really a day one. This was its day one. And the reason why DCIX squeeze washout long is so powerful is because you have very recent shorts that are stuck from the previous day. So when you have a fresher ticker, it's kind of hard. It's harder to tell who's actually stuck, how many shorts are stuck, So I guess in the case of Clint, that played a factor, and it ended up just dumping. So I ended up taking a pretty, not that bad of a loss, but still, either way, I was hoping for bigger things for this one. I was hoping this thing maybe would ramp off. Let's see where it could have gone. Let's see if we can find some supports and resistances here. Maybe it could have went I don't know, 17, maybe a 16, or maybe a 14 or something like that. 19 right here is resistance as well. Definitely had some room to go. At least $1 a share, you know what I mean? So it didn't work out. It's all good. Now let's move on to the home stretch of November. The crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, blockchain related names. RIOT, XNET, Mara. Mainly those three. So let's go ahead and talk about them. Alright, so the 24th. This was the day after Thanksgiving. RIOT, this one took off really, really nicely. Boom. And if you look at what it's been doing, this thing has been chopping, grinding, and then, geez, man, this thing started from the 7s all the way up to 24. Yeah, this is when blockchain was really, really hot. I made the mistake of shorting SRAX this day. Had a really nice profit at the open, actually, and then got ripped on all the way to pre-market highs. Thankfully, I stopped out. Would have been pretty bad if I held on to this move to the high of day. But overall, this is just really, really awesome action today on the blockchains. And you also see that XNET gapping over the previous day's highs, offering a really nice little washout long against pre-market support right there, which lines up with this after hours highs as well. Nice move up to 27. And pretty awesome action. It was very scalpable trades. I do believe I made back a chunk of my SRAX losses going long on RIOT. Right here. Pre-market resistance acting as support around 19. Stock ramping all the way up to 24. And Mara, I believe this was day one for Mara. Yeah, Mara Well, no, Mara took off on the day before Thanksgiving. It went from 170 all the way up to 270 basically, and then it gave us our little gap. Let's see, it gave us our little gap, and you know, your textbook gap up, the same pattern, guys. Look, the ramp, the fade, they get the sucker in the shorts. Now they're in pain. They get the gap up. Now they're all screwed. Wash out long to pre-market support, and then the ramp. So I believe I banked pretty nicely on this one on Mara as well. $20,000 I believe on this trade as well, just like DCIX. Textbook washout long at the open, and you can kind of see this thing ramped all the way up to 770. Jeez, unbelievable stock. And if we fast forward a couple days, you know, Mara is a really nice stock. I traded this several times. The gapped up all the way up to 17 because of the crypto $10,000 break on Bitcoin, and then it eventually faded because of you know, a conference call that was coming up where they were talking about diluting the stock pretty heavily, and it ended up being a really nasty short. So, you know, Mara offered opportunities on both sides, longs and shorts. You just had to be on the right side. Just don't be on the wrong side. If you got caught on the front side of Mara, you would have gotten destroyed if you were short, and obviously you got caught on the back side. This thing dumped pretty hard, and you would have been crushed on the long. So, Mara, pretty nice stock, kept going down, and it was pretty much just short on all pops up until today, even really. So I think that's pretty much all the tickers I wanted to touch up on. Pretty simple, like I said, guys. We had our shippers at the beginning. We had our Chinese stock interlude. We also had ROKU thrown in there, and then we also have finally, of course, our blockchain Bitcoin stocks. And in case you guys have been living under a cave, I am feeling charitable, and I'm doing a Christmas giveaway. The information is in the description below. You don't have to buy anything. It's completely free. I'm just a really nice guy, and I went shopping out on Black Friday, found some pretty sick deals. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab two of these items, keep one for myself. I'm gonna give away another one to my loyal followers. So to enter the win, guys, just go to the description. It'll have a link to my website. Have everything all there. You don't have to buy anything. The prizes are legit. There's going to be a live drawing. I'll probably do it on Instagram, live moments or something like that. But there's going to be a live drawing. The prizes are actually very nice prizes for you guys to help in your trading. And even if you don't trade for whatever reason, why the hell are you watching this video if you don't trade? But they're actually good items that you can just use in general. So really helpful stuff. Enter the win, guys. Love to give away all of the prizes. And you guys have until December the 16th, I believe, to complete the conditions for me to do the full 3 prize giveaway. So check that out. And is there anything else there to talk about? I think that's probably it. Yeah, well, we're in the home stretch. Last month, December, 19 trading days left in 2017. Best of luck to you guys in this holiday season. Hope we kill it and bring on the new year 2018, where we will be on to bigger and better things, I hope. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is Madaz, signing out.